In this video, we will try to understand history behind formation of NATO, creation of NATO, NATO members as on 2022, headquarters of NATO, Ukraine-Russia conflict and NATO, India's stand on Ukraine-Russia conflict, finally the conclusion. History behind the formation of NATO. Before we going to NATO, we have to understand history of NATO. We have to understand quickly history of Cold War. After the Second World War in 1945, the world witnessed two superpowers. One is America, another one is USSR. Both the superpower entered in Cold War. The term Cold War is used because there was no direct military confrontation between the two nations, but they each supported major regional conflict known as proxy war. Both the superpower engaged in arms race, space race, increased nuclear stockpiles. A situation arises in between the Cold War period that the other countries has to join either USA or Soviet Union. To avoid this crisis, leaders from few countries from the non-aligned movement, that means not formally aligned with the US or USSR, and sought to remain neutral. Creation of NATO. To counter the growing military power of Soviet Union, USA and its allies created North Atlantic Treaty Organization in 1949 to provide collective security against the Soviet Union. Article 5 of the NATO states that if an armed attack carried out by a non-NATO country on any member NATO country, it shall be considered an attack against all the NATO members, and other members shall assist the attacked member with armed forces if necessary. NATO members as on 2022. Initially it was 12 countries, now it has 30 member states. It is still expanding. North Macedonia is the latest country to join NATO, while Bosnia and Herzegovina, Georgia, and Ukraine are aspiring to join NATO. Headquarters of NATO. Its headquarters located in Brussels, Belgium. Ukraine-Russia conflict and NATO. The cause of the ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia is NATO. NATO and European Union tempting, alluring Ukraine that if Ukraine join NATO and European Union, they will provide loans, advanced military equipment and hardware. Russia does not want Ukraine to be a part of NATO or European Union. Russia's stand is justified because if tomorrow Ukraine join NATO, then NATO force can access the land of Ukraine. Russia shares a long boundary with Ukraine, so Russia do not want its enemy to sit on the doorstep. If there is a crisis occur, then Moscow is only few kilometers away from Ukraine border and would easily hit by missiles of USA and its allies. Russia found it as a threat and very much concerned about its national security from NATO's expansion. For example, USA shares its boundary with Mexico. If tomorrow Russia deployed arms, ammunition, tanks and missiles in Mexico border, will USA keep quiet? No, definitely not. Hence, why do Russia? Russia also justified that USSR has disintegrated in 15 countries in 1991. So the NATO expansion also to be stopped, but the West is still continuing its expansion. Now on the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, NATO did not come to help Ukraine, just they are talking and putting sanctions on Russia. In this tough situation, Ukraine has to understand that West cannot be trusted, and from this Ukraine must learn a lesson of mature politics. If you look carefully, all the major conflict across the world because of the West, mainly USA and UK. USA provoked two countries to a war and get benefited by selling weapons. You can take the example of Middle East Asia countries. All the border dispute going on across the world because of UK. They ruled that country for several years and left without demarcating boundary line properly. You can take the example of India, Pakistan, India, China, India, Nepal, Israel-Palestine border disputes. India's stand on Ukraine-Russia conflict. India has taken its stand by abstaining from voting against Russia in the United Nations. Russia is our strategic partner since independence. Here, India shows a mature diplomacy. As I said before, West cannot be trusted. Relations between India and USA have a lot of up and downs. In 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War, America and UK openly supported Pakistan, and USA sent its 7th Fleet in the Bay of Bengal to attack India. UK sent its aircraft carrier HMS Eagle into the Arabian Sea. At that time, only Russia helped India, thwarted back USA and UK by sending and confronting with nuclear submarine. Also, when India liberated Goa from the Portuguese, USA and UK moved joint resolution in the Security Council against India, and it was the USSR who vetoed the resolution. It is pertinent to mention that maximum of the defense hardware used by the Indian armed forces is from Russia. However, in this current geopolitics, India's relation with the West has improved a lot. We also not to forget that now USA, UK, France, and Russia support India's permanent membership in the UN Security Council. That's why it is very difficult to understand international relation. In international relation, no one is permanent friend or enemy, only matter its national interest. There are many more to say, but I finished here with a conclusion that Ukraine should learn a lesson from this war that West cannot be trusted. And we are always against war. War causes only devastation. I hope you found this video informative. Thank you for watching.